Sure, people are losing their minds over players doing the Trump dance on the field. It's fine. But they did lose their minds when NFL players like Colin Kaepernick did not take a political stance, but took a social justice stance. There's a distinction between those two things. It is interesting that there's been this big turnaround, it seems.
CNN has made the strangest comparison I've ever seen on its network. Hi, everyone. My name is Christopher. I'm the host of the Open Minds Show right here on YouTube, where I'm trying to inject a sense of political moderation in today's polarized, politicized world. So if you're liking my content, definitely hit that like button, subscribe, share, tell all your friends, comment below. Let me know what I'm doing right. Let me know what I'm doing wrong, folks. CNN went down a strange rabbit hole when it came to the recent Trump dance. Now, I'm sure some of you who are MMA fans know that when Jon Jones recently won, he did a really cool thing. He did the Trump dance, pointing to Donald Trump in the audience.
He did the Trump dance.
Even going over the barricade, and I think he says thank you to Donald Trump.
Wow. The greatest mixed martial arts.
So apparently this really upsets those in CNN because suddenly there's this politicization of sport, something that Donald Trump and other Republicans have fought against. In fact, if you look at the title for this CNN post, it's from "Shut Up and Dribble" to praise for athletes. Well, it turns out that CNN and its panelists don't seem to like that athletes are doing this Trump dance, and they believe that this is, in fact, a politicization of sport.
Yeah, it is. You look at all the times that any player was kneeling or anything, they all had this kind of conviction within themselves that this is what I believe, this is what I'm going to do. They articulated it very well to the media. Starting with Colin Kaepernick, and you saw the video where a lot of the media, the conservative media and conservatives were really pushing against these NFL players to get them to stop talking about politics. But then, you fast forward to today, and people are having a little fun with the Trump dance. Now, the Trump dance is it's weird, it's new-ish, and it's ridiculous, so which also makes it trendy.
Right, yeah.
Catchy.
It's like a TikTok dance.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, CNN, you once again seem to miss the mark because there was a great opportunity for you to unpack this a little bit more, and in my opinion, unpack why so many young, Black, Hispanic, white men are no longer voting for the Democrats, or at least did not vote for Democrats in as much numbers as in previous years, because there really is something that needs to be unpacked there. Why is Donald Trump resonating with this demographic more than the Democrats? But instead, CNN, what they do is they equated the Jon Jones, doing the Trump dance and interjecting politics into sport with Colin Kaepernick's taking the knee when it comes to the history of what Black people have gone through in the United States. Now, those two actions are very different. In my opinion, Colin Kaepernick taking the knee is a statement about social justice, the historical injustices that Black communities have faced. Jon Jones doing a dance for Donald Trump is a political statement about his support for Trump and or the Republican Party. Very different. But I think that CNN somehow wants to always make this about race and racism. And what's weird is that this conversation continues, and here's what they keep saying.
Totally different things. And these players are not out there trying to browbeat their teammates into joining them if they don't want to.
There are players and there are sports representatives that are doing exactly that. Not browbeating people, but look at Logan Paul. Look at the MMA right now. There are people who are standing there wearing mega hats and they're making political statements around making sure you support Donald Trump. I'm just saying, let's get this even. I agree with what Nate said. It was wrong for a Black player to do what, people do in churches, people do when they ask a person to marry them, take a knee. It's called respect. People don't understand that, but when a Black player did it, it was not respectful, I got
Which he
that.
learned from a Green Beret, by the way.
Yeah, yeah,
Green Beret
yeah,
suggested that he do that.
yeah.
One was
Yeah,
just a
well,
push
let me
towards-
just play. I mean, I just some people.
And this is again where I just truly don't understand why CNN is equating again what I think is a statement by Colin Kaepernick about historical injustice to supporting Donald Trump. I mean, what is it? How many celebrities and athletes have openly said that they support Kamala Harris? Eminem, the list goes on, Beyonce, they all openly said they supported Kamala Harris. Nothing was wrong with that. But the moment Jon Jones does a dance to support Donald Trump, or an athlete wears a MAGA hat, it gets many really upset. And I think this is where their confusion lies. This is precisely where it lies. Let's continue it, and I'll get to this in a second.
Have short memories, but here's how Donald Trump responded to Colin Kaepernick taking a knee.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
So to be clear, I mean, I really do think we have got to make a distinction. You cannot like what Colin Kaepernick did, but he wasn't saying, oh, go vote for Barack Obama. He was talking about a set of issues that are actually outside of politics. And Donald Trump had that reaction to it, and it had actual consequences for him and his career in the NFL.
It absolutely did. This was a
You see, that's the thing. I think the CNN hosts completely missed the mark here. I think what they tried to do is make the distinction, but really what Donald Trump, in my opinion, what he was saying was, if you're taking a knee during the national anthem, that is a very big statement against the United States of America. It's against the country. And I think as a private citizen, I think you have the right to do that. But as a football player during a national anthem, people might say, oh, you have an elevated platform to do so. But others would say, hang on, that is your personal opinion. As a member of the NFL, as a player of the NFL, you do have a right, I guess maybe an unspoken right, to honor the flag. And if you do have personal opinions about the United States, etc., there's a separate channel for you to, air those perhaps privately to your member of Congress, whatever the case is. But to use your platform as a player to air a personal opinion about the United States, it gets very dicey. And I would argue that, there's something to be said about football and its association with the United States of America, taking the knee during the anthem has that added weight to it. I don't think it would have that same weight if it were an American hockey player doing that on the ice, as an example. So Colin Kaepernick, knowing that how connected football is to the United States of America, the flag, the pride and patriotism that Americans have with football, it elevates that message. But instead, the CNN co-hosts equate that statement with, supporting, I guess, progressive politics, when in fact, again, it's a statement on the historic injustices that Black people have faced. And I think what Trump is echoing is there is a disrespect that an athlete is doing towards the flag at a football game, which is identified with the United States of America. And I think the CNN analysts missed a really important piece here. They could have unpacked why, again, young Black, young Hispanic, young white men in particular they're less willing to vote for Democrats. Perhaps now more so than ever, more are drawn to Donald Trump and Trump's persona. And that needs to be discussed. And I think that would have been a wonderful discussion for the panel to have. But interestingly enough, as they continue down this path, someone finally says, I think, what many of us were thinking. So I'm going to play that clip here because I think there's finally a level of different, like a calm that comes over after this person speaks.
Got fined like $12,000 for that.
Okay.
Americans love a comeback. So do sports players. So do the guys in the sports field. I mean, I'm with Scott. I'm not sure what we're talking about here. The guys are doing a dance. I think it shows the kinship that Donald Trump has with some of his folks out there. But I agree. I don't think this is going to be going on forever. And I'm not sure I see the comparison here of what we're talking about.
I also think there's something to be said for the marketplace here. I mean, who do you think's in an NFL stadium? Who do you think's at the MMA fight? Probably a lot
Two
of
different
Trump.
demographics.
Probably a lot of. Probably
Exactly.
A lot of,
One's a lot more diverse than the other one, but
probably
they're
a lot of
different
Trump.
demographics.
Probably a lot of Trump people. And
Yeah, for a
so,
long time, a lot of females went to that Kansas City
I mean,
game.
is
I'm
it,
just
so I guess
saying,
what I'm
so
saying
if
is
I
like,
were- if I were
does
in
it
a-
does
this
it
is-
take that much courage? I mean, some of the commentators that we played earlier basically were suggesting that they are so free now of
Oh,
retribution
I
to
totally
come
agree with that.
forward as a Trump.
Absolutely.
But
100%.
to your point, these are conservative audiences. You're not getting a badge of courage
But
for doing that in
Trump's
a
winning,
MMA.
I do think
stadium.
Trump's winning unlocked. So I agreed with what Jesse
The
Waters said in the
smugness
clip.
from the
Actually, I do
host.
think it unlocked a certain number of people who probably previously felt like culturally they would not be looked upon well if they did express any kind of political preference for Trump. He goes out and wins, and now all of a sudden they do a 3-second dance to say, "Hey, I think this is kind of
They
cool."
never felt like Joe Biden would say the types of things that he said about Colin Kaepernick from the podium. What they might have felt was a certain level of social pressure from people around them, but not in that stadium,
Oh, more
because
than
those are
that.
also
Yes.
majority
Media
Trump
pressure,
supporters, but
social
not
pressure. I
necessarily
mean,
from
look
white
at the sports journal.
It's so interesting, but this is the conversation that I just don't understand why it's not happening. Again, I think a deeper understanding as to why younger people are going to Trump. I just want to share this before I end the video. Check this out. This is done by the Cato Institute. And of course, people can criticize the Cato Institute, but I'm sure many of us also think the same. 62% of Americans say they have political views they're afraid to share. 50% of strong liberals support firing Trump donors. 36% of strong conservatives support firing Biden donors. 32% are worried about missing out on job opportunities because of their political opinions. Now, this was done in 2020. I imagine that this number is pretty much the same, if not higher, now than it was even 4 years ago. But I'd love to know what you think. Do you think CNN has just kind of gone off the rails in comparing Colin Kaepernick taking the knee to Jon Jones and other athletes doing the Trump dance? Again, I just feel like they're grasping at straws here, and they're comparing a historical grievance with someone supporting a political party. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, let me know what you like, don't like, everything else. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell me everything that you think, and I will catch you in the next one.